There are 2 new characters coming to Genshin Impact with version Luna 4. Well, actually 3 new characters. 2 new 5 stars, one being Columbina the Archon, and in the second half, most likely, Zibai, the White Horse Adeptus character. Alongside her is the 4-star Eluga. So we're gonna break down Zibai and Eluga's kits and talk about what kind of teams and how good they might be. Welcome to Jello Impact, where we build and test every single character to help you decide who you want to wish for and build. The version Luna 3 banners featuring Durin and Venti are almost here. If you're planning on spending on these or any future banners, let me recommend LootBar. I have been personally using LootBar for over a year. They are safe, using currency exchange to get you discounts on the crystals you were going to buy anyway. They have tens of thousands of 5-star reviews, and by clicking my link, you can save over 25% on all of your purchases. It's very easy to use. Just click the pack you want, enter your in-game UID and region, and your top-up is delivered in minutes. New users get a 10% off coupon, and returning users get a 5% and 3% for clicking my link. Also, if you plan on buying currency for Miliastra Wonderland or other games like Zenless Zone Zero or Honkai Star Rail, you can also purchase that through LootBar. It's partnerships like these that allow me to continue bringing the content that I do, as well as supporting my family. So thanks to LootBar for sponsoring the video. All right, Zibai, pronunciation is going to be terrible, is going to be a White Horse Adeptus, and we have like a little drawing of her. Looks amazing, frankly. And we also got to see her in game from the back if you follow certain websites. Looks amazing. I'm not gonna lie, she could be one of my favorite character designs in the game if she ends up looking as good as she does so far, and if that ends up materializing. On top of that, she is a sword user, and her playstyle is similar to Clorand, who has one of my favorite playstyles in the entire game, so I am beyond excited for this character. She is literally looking like a contender for my favorite character in the game, very possibly. So she has a really, really interesting kit, so let's talk about it. She is GEO, defense, and EM scaling. Finally, we have a GEO EM scaler. A lot of people are talking about how weird this is. To be honest, it's weird we haven't gotten an EM scaling GEO character, because the reaction itself, crystallized, not lunar crystallized, but just crystallized, the crystallized shields are based on the EM of the character. Albedo, the very first GEO character, buffed EM with his burst. There is no reason why we've had to wait 5 years for an EM scaling GEO character. It is about time, to be honest. Either that or they should have changed the crystallized to scale off of defense. But anyways, very cool. Her normals. So after her skill, her normals are GEO infused, cannot be overwritten. And she builds stacks by normal attacking, kind of like Clorand, and her N4 hits twice. Unlike Clorand, I don't think there's any reason to think she'll be locked in an animation, so you should be able to still dodge, but we don't have gameplay footage just yet, so we'll have to wait and see. And then her N4 hits twice, which means you'll want to do likely 4 normal attacks and then skill, 4 normal attacks and skill. Most likely that'll be a combo, but we don't have her numbers just yet. Her skill has a 15-second duration and an 18-second cooldown. So 15 seconds, a pretty long uptime, pretty much permanent uptime, and then you'll swap off to refresh your characters. 18-second cooldown means she'll be able to line up her rotations with how the characters have been lately. So this is fine, good, whatever. After building stacks, consume the stacks by pressing her skill, again, to deal lunar crystallized damage. So normal 4 times, build stacks, press skill to do a big lunar crystallize. Lunar crystallized damage also builds stacks. So when Columbina is doing lunar crystallized damage from off field, that'll also build stacks. So potentially you won't always have to N4, or maybe sometimes you can, like maybe you can skill more than once every N4. We'll have to see how the playstyle ends up going, but just as it is, it sounds very fun. It doesn't sound boring, it sounds engaging and fun. Not crazy complicated, but engaging and fun. Her burst has a 15-second cooldown and a 60 cost burst, so pretty low cost. She probably runs at least 1, if not 2 other GEO characters on the team, so she's gonna have lots of energy for this. I don't think she's going to have to worry about building energy on this team, and 15-second cooldown means she'll easily be able to use it every rotation, and it's a 2-hit nuke. Second hit is lunar crystallized damage. Because it's lunar crystallized damage, unlike Nefer's damage, which is not lunar bloom damage, I expect her burst will actually be a more useful part of her kit. And because I like her design, I'm excited that her burst should actually be useful. So that's her main kit. Now for her passives, she increases her damage based on her defense. Perfectly fine. Her other passive increases her defense and her EM based on Geo and Hydro party members in the party. So she is going to be similar to a SKIRK situation or a Chevreuse situation where you are limited to Geo and Hydro characters only. This will make her team building pretty restrictive, to be honest. Not a lot of characters will work with her. This is another SKIRK situation. She is a Geo Hydro SKIRK, almost to the T. She will really want Columbina. She will really want her 4-star Eluga, which arguably is better than SKIRK because, you know, it's a 4-star that you want that's on her banner. So her Escoffier is on her banner, which obviously that's nicer, especially since Eluga, you get 1 copy for free from the Lantern Rite, and you'll get to get more copies of him as you wish for Zubai herself. And then of course she'll want Columbina, just like SKIRK wants Farina. And then the 4th slot is up in the air. There'll probably be a best, maybe as Zhongli, but there's a bunch that could theoretically work. She converts all crystallized to lunar, and then she boosts lunar crystallize based on her defense. So yeah, looks like a very fun kit. Lunar Crystallize itself, I forgot to put that in here, but Lunar Crystallize itself does something kind of cool. It's basically like Lunar Electrocharge, where it does damage based on party members' crit and things like that. So you can think of it as kind of like the Lunar Electrocharge Thundercloud. Difference being, they might count as Geo Constructs, which could be pretty cool for Chiori. And it's unknown exactly how they function with things like Navia. Will Navia be able to consume them the way she does normal crystallizes? I don't know. I think to go real in depth, we'll just wait till we can see some in-game footage. The 4-star alongside her is Eluga, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Eluga will be the Lantern Rite 4-star because we always get a Lantern Rite free 4-star, and she's going to be coming out during the Lantern Rite patch, or at least during the Lunar New Year patch, which is usually coincide with Lantern Rite, and she's a leeway character. So I'm just assuming Eluga is going to be our Lantern Rite free character, but who knows? You know, that could be wrong. That's just sort of speculation on my part. It just seems to make the most sense. But Eluga is a Geo support, and he's going to be a polearm. He is a 4-star. Now, the good thing about Eluga is that, yes, he will be pretty much necessary for Zibai's teams, but he actually has a good kit at C0. The C6 does look good, but the C0 is cracked as well. So kind of like Chevreuse, we'll see how it ends up being with more calcs. He doesn't have any good normal attacks, so we just go straight to the skill. So let's just change it to him. He looks pretty cool as well. I like this design. I think it's nice. His skill has a 15-second cooldown. He summons a bird. The bird deals Geo damage. Now, it only deals damage 1 time, importantly. So if you want to use the Silken Moon Serenade set instead of Instructors, you might actually have to go for C2 for a 2nd hit to keep the uptime for the whole rotation. Fortunately, if he is the free Lantern Rite character, then you'll get 1 copy for free, and then you only need 2 more copies for the C2, which if you're going for Shibai, pretty likely you'll end up with that. And yes, for those thinking this is going to be a Nodcry character, I mean, he will be a Nodcry character, just like Jibai is going to be a Nodcry character, but I do believe similar to Nefer, they're originally from Leeway. This is my speculation, right? Take it with a grain of salt. Maybe he's not free, but then every single year they've added a 4-star for free to the Leeway 4-star selector. I would be shocked if it wasn't him. All right, so that's the skill, kind of a nothing burger skill. Burst, 20-second duration, 15-second cooldown, 60 cost. So this is all good stuff. 100% uptime, low cooldown, and low cost burst. You're gonna at least have 2 Geo characters on the team. So again, should be perfectly fine to burst every rotation, and short rotation doesn't extend rotations. Very nice. He gives Shenhe/Lauma style quill to boost Geo damage. It's actually a Lauma style quill because the quills also scale in AoE, unlike Shenhe's. And the damage is based on Eluga's EM. So you want to max out his EM. So you want to go EM, possibly EM. I don't know where the buff caps out. We'll have to wait and see. He gives an extra boost for Lunar Crystallize, and when constructs are on the field, then there's another extra boost, and Lunar Crystallize apparently counts as a construct. So cool. His passive, he buffs Geo damage for 5% crit rate and 10% crit damage. We'll just take away damage so it's not confusing. Gives Geo characters 5% crit rate, 10% crit damage. He gives 50 EM, and he buffs Geo the more Hydro or Geo party members are on the team. And so you will want to do likely a full team of Geo and Hydro. I don't think sacrificing that buff is going to be worth it for either Jibai or Eluga. For constellations, his C1 gives energy to himself. C2 gives a 2nd hit for Silken Moon uptime, so his C2 will be quite important. His C4 buffs defense. His C6 makes the crit rate buff 10%, so it doubles it, and the crit damage 30%, which triples it, and buffs an additional 80 EM. So C6 will definitely be quite a good buff, and you can work towards that. I don't really talk about constellations this early, but Jibai is looking to have quite a strong C1. So if you end up going for C1 Jibai on your quest to get C6 Illuga, all I can think of is baby Illuga blue. I'm a dad. What can I say? It's going to take a long time to think of not that song when I hear Eluga. But yeah, if you end up going for C6 Eluga and getting her C1, that's probably going to be like the vertical investment path, similar to the high value of going for Varessa C1. Even if Varessa C1 isn't that great, it's nice to get cons of Chevreuse and Yansan. Jibai actually has a good C1, so that'll be better. So in terms of teams, so we'll pretend that we'll pretend Ningguang is Jibai. Where's Ningguang? There she is, Ningguang. And then this is Eluga. Jibai and Eluga. And then you will need column. Actually, we don't have it. The characters aren't even here yet. This is pointless. Teams are going to be Jibai, Eluga, Columbina, plus Flex. Your Flex is going to be Zhongli, Chiori, Albedo, Goro. I don't know who else, to be honest. Maybe another Hydro, but I don't know. Like, if you put Yalan here, she's not getting very much buffs, so she's not going to do very much damage. Maybe you want Xingqiu. It kind of doesn't matter. It's kind of like the Nefer situation, where most of the damage is from these three characters, and then the last one doesn't matter. Also like SKIRK, where it just doesn't matter. One thing that's a bit sus is that there's no defensive utility, so this might actually be a Zhongli moment. Maybe the crystallized shields will be relevant. Maybe they're waiting for Sandrone. I don't think Mona doesn't do anything here. Maybe you want Kokomi for healing. Shallonen would need C2 because she needs 2 non-Geo characters on the team. People are saying Mona C2. When normal attack hits, 20% chance will be followed by charge attack. All party members will have their elemental mastery increased by 80. I don't think you're gonna run Mona just for an 80-second elemental mastery. Her omen doesn't work, and yeah, her omen doesn't do anything. So why Inefa? Oh, you could use Inefa. You will get you will lose damage on Eluga. You will lose buffing from Eluga and lose damage from Jibai, because the way their passive scales, like they give more buffing / do more damage for more Geo and Hydro characters, but maybe an F of damage is worth the trade-off. Could be. Maybe Ino, sure. Assuming, yeah. Shalona gives 36 res shred. Only when you need two non-Geo characters on the team for Shalona to give her shred. Yeah, and Ino will also ruin the Gleam. Ino and Anefa will also ruin. They won't give Nodcry Resonant. They'll take away Nodcry Resonant. Yeah, maybe Xingqiu. Dahlia for attack speed. That would be awesome. That would be awesome if that was good. If that helped your stack generation, that would be hot. Overall, I think Jibai looks awesome. I think that you won't need Columbina. I think it'll be a Nefer situation. I anticipate her being similar to Nefer in power level. I'm still a doubter on the super high, Nefer being as good as Moika kind of damage. I have a feeling that Jibai and Nefer, similar power level around, I think that they'll be very good with Columbina, and then without Columbina, still be very strong if you want to use Columbina on a different team. Yeah, no, I don't think Yehoda's any good here. No, because if you use Yehoda, you lose buffing for Eluga, and you lose damage from Jibai. So there's no way it's worth it to use Yehoda. Yeah, maybe Sandrone is meant to be there. I don't know. Let me know. I'm super excited for this character. I think she looks like she's going to be really, really fun and looks strong, and I like what we know of her design so far, but let me know if you're excited for her or not. Yeah, we'll leave the power level discussion for a week or two. Again, any DPS numbers you've been seeing, I put the DPS numbers for Nefer Columbina in my last video, but take them with a massive grain of salt, just because, first of all, they just seem too high to be true. Second of all, numbers almost always change within especially the first week after a beta, and they always evolve and adjust after that. So take everything with a grain of salt. Get characters that are your favorites. Don't worry too much about it being top meta. It's not really important as long as the character is good. And I'll tell you if they're not good. And Jibai is going to be good. Nefer is good. Flynn's is good. SKIRK is good. Varese is good. Moika is good. As long as they're good, you don't have to worry about it. And yeah, and Mulan is good. So let me know your thoughts. Take care. Bye for now.